Don't rub it. Run to first base and show you're a man.
What's going on, guys? Coach Matt and yougoprobaseball.com. I'm here with the man, Nick Shaw, former Brewers middle infielder. And this video, we're talking about the unwritten rules of baseball. There's rules in the rule book, and then there's things that you should not do that are not written in the rule book, but you should understand these rules, right? There's some things within the game that you need to know. You got one to start it off? Maybe we'll bounce it back and forth.
I got one. When I was taking the field every time, I did not want to step on the pitcher's mound. Do not step on the pitcher's mound unless you're the pitcher when you're taking the field.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Another one is if the pitcher's throwing a no-hitter, the hitter is not supposed to bunt, right? You're not supposed to bunt to try to break up the no-hitter. It's an unwritten rule. If you bunt, the other team is going to be mad at you. I promise you that.
To add on to that, if your pitcher's throwing a no-hitter, do not talk about it. A lot of times those guys don't even want to be talked to in the dugout, but do not talk about it, or that first hit's probably coming.
Another one, if you're up by a lot, your team's up by a lot of runs, you're not stealing bases. You're not supposed to steal bases, right? If you're up, I was always taught that it was 8 runs because that's 2 grand slams away, and that's pretty much when the game is kind of out of reach. So when your team gets up by 8, some people say it's 6. You know, some people, as the game goes on later in the game, you know, if you're in the 8th inning, and you're up by, 5 or 6, then maybe you're not stealing then. But I was always taught 8 runs, you're not stealing anymore.
And if you end up stealing or bunting for that matter with a huge lead, the pitcher is probably gonna throw at you. I do not condone this, but there's a chance that if you break that unwritten rule, you might get thrown at the next hitter.
On that subject, if you're a hitter and you hit a home run and you pimp that home run, I mean, it's an unwritten rule that you're not supposed to pimp at least when we played, that was a thing. Now it seems like all the time these days, guys hit a home run and they're pimping it. So, that's another unwritten rule. Don't show up the opposing team, I guess we could say, is an unwritten rule.
Being on the same team, do not show up your teammates. I've seen a lot of pitchers, and it happens both ways. I've seen some infielders show up their pitcher as well. But a lot of pitchers, if an infielder makes an error, you see them go like this and show up their infielder. Well, guess what? The next time that play up the middle comes where the infielder probably could have laid out for it and you're pitching, he's probably gonna pull that arm right on back. So do not show up your players.
You talked about jumping over the line. Another one is maybe not running in front of the pitcher and the catcher, in between the pitcher and catcher throwing. Always run around the back side of the mound, never in front of the pitcher when he's warming up. Take it from a pitcher. I didn't like that when someone was running in front of me when I was pitching.
Another one, do not use somebody else's glove or bat for that matter without asking. Don't go in the bat rack, pull out a random bat and end up breaking it. That's the worst case scenario. Ask before you use somebody else's stuff.
There's a rule too. I don't know if this is a rule, specific rule, or just a team that I played on. But the rule that I heard was if you took a guy's bat, even if you asked them and like, hey, can I use your bat? And they said yes. If you broke it in a game, you owed them a bat. And if you broke it in BP, you owed them 2 bats. That was, I guess that was just a rule that I played on in the teams that I played on. That was a rule that we had. Another one, thinking of hitting now, is when you're on deck, don't come up in the dirt close to the plate while the pitcher's warming up. As a pitcher, I hated that. And make sure you're staying back a little bit because that really bugged me. And I think it's an unwritten rule as well.
Don't rub it. I'm sure you've heard that, or rub some dirt on it. When you get drilled or when you get hit by a pitch, don't rub it. Run to first base and show you're a man. Don't rub it.
That's a great one. That's a great one. We just did this on the fly, this video. We went back and forth, so I'm sure we left some out. So if we left out any of the unwritten rules, drop down in the comment section right now and let us know the unwritten rules that we forgot about for baseball. Thank you so much, guys. We will see you in the next video.